If you'll just bear with me for a couple minutes here until I get things completely situated, we'll be here on the air with you. I want to welcome everybody who is joining us here on the Emergency Management Associates program tonight. This is a special broadcast of the Emergency Management Associates Network. I want to make it very clear that we want you to be here. This is a major event that has happened today. I want to make it very clear that we are here to support our country and also to support each other. I want to make that very clear. Okay? We're here to support each other. We're also here to support our country. I want to make that abundantly clear. Okay? There is no doubt in my mind what I believe is happening and what I see happening now. Okay? I appreciate everybody here. I really honestly appreciate everyone that is supporting this program tonight. Now, in saying that, I have a great deal of information for you. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles north of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. 392 miles west, I shouldn't have said north, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I want to say that I have also prepared a great deal of information for you tonight. I want to make this abundantly clear, okay? I want to make sure that everybody realizes what we're up against. I want to make it absolutely clear what you and I, our families, and everyone else are up against tonight. Okay? This is important. I would hope that everyone here would be here to listen to what we have to say and be here to help prepare themselves, our families, and also our communities for what has happened and what is going to happen. Okay? Up until recently, I've told you that we needed to just prepare for any possible thing that could happen to us. As you all know now, or maybe you don't know, okay? Israel was attacked last night. It was attacked this morning, United States time. Some of you may or may not be aware of it and what transpired today over in the Arab region and Israel. I'm going to make it abundantly clear what has happened and what is possible that could happen. For many weeks now, maybe since at least last year, everyone around the world was waiting to find out when Israel was going to be attacked by Iran. Last November, I want to bring everybody up to speed here in case you didn't know. Last November, Hamas and Hezbollah attacked Israel with small personal gliders flying through the air over the fences into Israel. Hamas and Hezbollah forces also came through tunnels under the bridges and under the fence line that separated Gaza from Israel. Hamas and Hezbollah forces killed hundreds of people and kidnapped unknown numbers of civilians, taking those citizens of Israel and America and other countries back into Gaza. Hamas and Hezbollah forces knew that Israel would attack and retaliate. Iran was also aware and knew that those groups would attack Israel. And many countries around the world knew that those terrorists were being supported by Iran. I want to make this clear. Iran knew what they were doing. Iran has been providing arms and support to these Hezbollah and Hamas terrorists. I want to make it abundantly clear. It's a proven fact. Other terrorists in Arab countries also were being supported by Iran. and they carried out attacks on United States Navy ships and other shipping container ships to try to stop shipping from coming through the Gulf. The United States Navy was in that area and bolstered their forces in the region in support of Israel and to stop the attacks on supply ships in the Gulf, to keep the sea lanes open. The United States lost at least 3 Navy sailors who were there to stop attacks on ships and Navy assets in the region. History has proven that the United States has always supported Israel. President Biden is the first U.S. president in history that he has said that this country and himself would not back up Israel if Israel would attack Iran. Other Arab countries in the region knew what was going to happen. Yes, Israel came into Iran and took out an Iranian general and also destroyed other Iranian supplies and communications and support military assets. It was only when it was all going to boil over, after Israel went into Gaza to put a stop to the Hezbollah and Hamas terrorists from attacking Israel. Ramadan ended this past weekend. Iran, for weeks and even months now, has threatened attack against Israel, and they have also threatened to attack the United States if the United States would come in to support Israel. It was a fact of what would happen. Again, I want to repeat what we know. Israel and the United States have been threatened. We also know that Biden has let other forces against the United States into the United States through the southern border that has actually let in millions of people now, upwards of 8 million people. Biden and his administration have also been flying in people with planes in airliners into the United States that were illegals. They're not documented people. They're not documented people. Documented people go through the necessary elements to be able to come into the United States legally. These people are illegal aliens. I'm going to call a spade, as you know I already have before now. I want to make it abundantly clear what is happening. We have people here in the United States that are clearly non-citizens, and many people recently have come across the border fully armed, ready to attack the United States, and we have film footage of it, coming across the border in military clothing, carrying weapons. I personally have seen it. I have personally seen it. Again, Ramadan ended this past weekend. Iran again threatened Israel and also threatened the United States that it would attack the United States and United States interests around the world if the U.S. in any way got involved in protecting Israel. Today was the day. Today, Israel was attacked by drone-launched rockets from locations inside the north of Lebanon, supported by Iran. I saw footage from Israel of rockets that were launched into Israel, and Israel has been protected by the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome, folks, is a U.S.-developed anti-missile system that the United States gave Israel to protect itself. I will post photographs of that on our community page after this video has been posted. Rockets were launched mostly from drone assets into Israel today. The Iron Dome was able to protect Israel to a great extent. The missiles, for the most part, were destroyed in the air before they even reached Israeli targets. A handful of drone-launched missiles got through the Iron Dome. We don't have any real estimates or numbers of how many got through, but for the most part, we believe that those missiles got through, did very little damage. They did very little damage. But with that said, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Lebanon, and Syria have missile support from Russia. Russia and Iran are allies. And Iran's missile systems are very, very good. They are very, very accurate. Now, if Iran continues to launch missiles into Israel and over into the United States support ships, all hell is going to break loose. All hell will break loose. I can promise you that. I can promise you that as I sit here in front of you tonight. The rockets today were aimed at Israeli military targets. The United States Department of Defense components supplied Israel with the anti-missile defense system known as the Iron Dome. Those anti-ballistic missile defense systems worked for the most part. And like I said, they only allowed a handful of missiles through, and we believe those that got through the Israeli defenses did not cause much harm. But the war is on. Today, the Department of Defense issued a statement that military forces in the region are going to be bolstered to an amazing event. A lot of military forces are inbound into Israel and the Gulf area. We already have moved the United States USS Eisenhower offshore of Israel. Within probably 1 hour time period, the Eisenhower will be offshore from Israel. And not just that. Many other ships are also being moved into position offshore from Israel. We have guided missile destroyers inbound into the Gulf as we speak. Inbound into the Gulf as we speak. Nuclear forces are on the way to Israel and the Gulf region. Navy and Air Force components are moving into the region. The USS Eisenhower and a contingent of planes, 5,000 men and women and military hardware are being moved into just offshore from Israel, as well as other major components of U.S. Naval and Air Force components also being moved into the area, including nuclear defense missile destroyers and other ships coming into the region. Hurricane Heather says, hey, Wrath. Wrath is here in the chat. We appreciate everybody here. Please, folks, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. That is very, very important. The thumbs up button will allow the YouTube venue that we're on to allow other people to see this program. Also, we would need to have you here for long periods of time during our broadcast. If you're here only for a few minutes, you're not going to get anything out of tonight's broadcast. You just aren't. We need you to be here to figure out what's going on with us. The information I'm giving you tonight is very, very important, and it could possibly save your own lives. It could possibly save your own lives. Yes, we're going to talk about emergency preparedness tonight. But right now, I want to give you all the information I have about what is transpiring over in and around Israel. Russia and China are also fully aware of the United States' intent to support Israel and our interests in the region. There is a great deal of diplomatic fervor going on behind the scenes to try to stave off any more action by either Israel or the United States. Folks, this is real. This is very, very real. Now, I believe that I'm watching our program tonight, and we have YouTube that is buffering us. If you're getting buffered, leave this program and come back in. Leave this program and come back in. It's very important that you see what we have to say and hear what we have to say. Okay? If you're not subscribed to this program already, you need to subscribe to this program. Why? Because we are going to have the utmost information here on our channel than anybody else is going to have. So please, stay here and stay tuned to this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and when you subscribe, also click on that little bell icon. Down there in the corner, right next to the subscribe button, there is a little bell icon. After you subscribe, click on that little bell icon. That will allow you to be notified by YouTube when we come on the air. After you click on that little bell icon, a drop-down menu of 3 items is going to come up. Please click on the word ALL, all. That way you'll get notified when we come on the air. But be advised, YouTube lies about that too. They lie about it. They do not always notify you. But I'm giving you a heads up. During the weekday, we usually come on the air between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight or Eastern Standard Time. So you're going to know. You're going to have the chance to know when we're here, and you're already waiting for us. Okay? Now, there's a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate Hurricane Heather. I appreciate Demon Catman and any of the other mods that are here to support this program. It's very important. I'm going to stop for just a few seconds to tell you about about earthquakes that have happened here today. Happened around the United States or anywhere around the globe. We have not, I repeat, we have not had any very strong 6.0, 6.9 earthquakes or major earthquakes 7.0 to 10.0. We have not had any of those earthquakes here around the globe anywhere. We have had no earthquakes that would start a tsunami. I want to make it clear. We have not had any earthquakes that would initiate a tsunami. Okay? The Tsunami Warning Center and the National Buoy Center have not reported any tsunamis happening as a result of earthquakes. Okay? I'm just telling you that right now. The earthquakes that have happened today have mostly been just 5.0 to 5.8 earthquakes. There was a 5.8 earthquake over in the Solomon Islands today. That did not, I repeat, that did not accompany a tsunami, or a tsunami did not accompany that quake. There has to be a minimum of a 6.5 earthquake to trigger a tsunami. So far, the earthquakes that have hit have not created a tsunami. Okay? Know that. If I have time before the end of the program, we will talk about earthquakes around the world. But I have a lot of other very important information to give you. Because, folks, you need to be aware of what we have here. If you don't already and are not already aware that the world has been in a World War III status for over a year and a half. For the last, I want to say, 18 months, World War III has been in progress. Russia and Ukraine have been fighting. World War III has been started. We have NATO troops up in Ukraine. We have United States and multi-nation forces, NATO forces in Ukraine and over in Poland now. Russia launched a strike against a natural gas platform in Poland. Russia has knocked out natural gas in that area, in Poland and Ukraine. Poland has no natural gas power now. They also have nothing to heat their homes with. Or if those people have gas stoves in their homes or apartments, it's not going to work. They have basically been knocked back into the 1800s. They've been knocked back into the 1800s. And that could very well happen here in the United States. Please be aware of this. This could happen right here in the United States. Okay? Please be aware of this. If you know people that are not on this program tonight, please invite them here. They need to hear what we're going to say. I'm giving you information now that could save your lives. And I'm very serious about that. The information that we have for you could save your lives. Now, given what I just told you, the United States is moving equipment and forces into Israel and the surrounding region. Israel is about to launch a strike in retaliation to the strike that Iran did onto Israel, a sovereign country. Today, contingents of the military defense complex were also in the area even before the strike was made on Israel. The United States has been warned 2 weeks ago about the possibility of Iran launching an attack on Israel. The United States had been warned by Iran 2 weeks ago about this strike on Israel, even before Ramadan. Folks, Ramadan is over as of this past weekend. Everyone around the globe expected Israel to be attacked as early as this past Sunday. The FBI also put out an advisory earlier this week that the United States mainland could be attacked at any moment by adversarial forces. Most of you know, like I've told you a few minutes ago, that military-aged men have been coming across this border for the past 3 years. 7 to 8 million people have come across the border. The great majority of them, I will say 95% of them, from countries around the globe, have been military-aged men and women, mostly men. This morning, fighter planes, E-6 command and control aircraft were in the air in and around the United States today. At one point this afternoon, Air Force One was launched in the air. Air Force One was put in the air, and I don't know whether it's come back into Washington. Biden also made an announcement of the attack on Israel. It is believed that the United States military forces have been put on high alert. It's also believed that the Russian and Chinese forces are also on high alert. I want to tell you this right now. You need to be on high alert yourselves. Each and every one of us around this country need to be on high alert. I'm just telling you, this is no joke. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Israel was attacked. Iran has issued a threat against the United States again. It's ongoing. It is ongoing. What are we supposed to do about it? What can we do about it? That's where I am going right now. I want to tell you what we can and will do about it. Each and every one of us, whether we are affiliated with the military or not, each and every one of us needs to be aware of what's going on and how we can protect ourselves. I told you last night that we were going to talk about emergency preparedness tonight. Yes, we are talking about emergency preparedness, and I'm going to continue to do that. Now, why am I being so serious? Because what we're talking about is very, very serious. I can't help you unless you can help yourself. And I want to give you that information to help yourself, to doing whatever I can to back you up and give you the information you need to take care of yourselves and your families. Again, I need you to share this. I need you to share this. Richard Smith is in the house in chat and he's asking, is Biden hiding? That's a possibility. That is a possibility. I'm not going to tell you who, but I had a very dear friend of mine call me earlier this afternoon. at about 3:30. He said he saw the Biden address. Biden looked very, shall I say, feeble, as an elderly man that could not even try to protect himself if he could. Again, we are being buffered here. I'm being buffered here watching my program on a monitor here. If you're being buffered, go out off the program and come immediately back. This is important. Remnant Truth is asking, what about BOB? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Remnant Truth. Please tell me what you're talking about so I can answer your question. Catherine Sigerson said here in the chat, she feels like God has been giving her challenges to prepare her mind. It's almost weird. No, it's not weird. It's not weird at all. God is giving you personal revelation. God is giving you personal revelation. Revelation to help you. It's not weird at all. You may not be fully aware of what's going on, but He's giving you revelation to protect yourself and your family. That's what we're trying to do tonight. To give you information to help you. Folks, if you have a question, I'm going to try to pay attention to the chat. I will try to pay attention to the chat. Now, like I said, there's a lot going on. And I'm trying to give you this information so you can be aware of it. I want to talk about preparedness for each and every one of us. Whether you're completely new to this program, whether you're completely new to preparedness in any way, shape, or form, or you've been doing this for a long time, what I'm going to share with you now is going to help you to get you prepared for whatever life may throw at you or whatever is going to happen now. Julie Heflin is here in the chat saying, hey all, I'm starting from the beginning, we'll catch up. Julie, go ahead and understand this. We already have talked about Israel being attacked. We have talked about Iran threatening Israel and the United States with an attack on our shores, on our country. And it's not just on us. It's on anyone who steps up to retaliate against Iran or any Iranian people that are backing them up, whatever country. It could be anybody. NATO backs us up. So we may have world forces over in the Gulf, helping protect Israel and also backing the United States up. World War III has been ongoing for over a year. Okay? We have forces in the air right now. Command and control aircraft in the air. We have United States fighter jets fully equipped, ready to push buttons and flip switches when something happens. We're there. Okay? My friend Tammy Steffi, our friend Tammy Steffi is here. She says she was not given any notification from you-know-who. Oh, yes. Again, if you're not getting notifications from YouTube, you need to unsubscribe, resubscribe immediately, and click on that little bell icon. When you see that drop-down menu of 3 items, click on the word all, A-L-L. That should get you notified or re-notified when we come on the air. Captain Apollonius says he didn't get notified either. I'm sure there are a number of you that haven't. Please subscribe and please click on that notification bell to get notified when we come on the air. About 29% of people that watch this program do not subscribe to this program. That's unfortunate, but it's a proven fact. At one point, 1.1 year ago, I had 25,000 subscribers to the Emergency Management Associates program. YouTube took us down and blamed it on hackers, so we had to start up another channel. Now we have over 4,100 subscribers. I would love to see that subscriber base go up to 5,000 before the end of April, and then just literally explode between now and the end of this year. I'm not doing it for me. None of this is about Ron. All of this is about all of you, helping you to become prepared. That's why Emergency Management Associates is here. So please do that. Now, like I said, I don't care whether you're new or whether you are an old hand at emergency preparedness. This program tonight is all about each of you, new or old, new or already indoctrinated into emergency preparedness. This is for you. I want to help you get you prepared for whatever life may throw at you, including this war. The United States has not been attacked on our shores since World War II. It could happen at any time. It could happen at any time, and more now than ever before. We have enemies in this country. We have illegal aliens that have come into this country with nothing better to do on their minds than attack citizens here in this country. There are sleeper cells all over the United States. Alaska, Hawaii, mainland United States, probably over in Guam as well, and Puerto Rico. Be advised, you attack any one of our people on our shores, and we will retaliate. I promise you that. We will retaliate. Now, tonight, you're not only going to get a high-level overview of preparedness ideas. You're going to get a lot more than that. We're also going to go down the rabbit hole. Why? I want to give you some of the most advanced preparedness information on the internet. That's my goal tonight, to give you some of the most advanced information that you can possibly have. That's my goal. I hope to shout that you are ready for this. I'm also asking you all to please get out a notebook and take notes about what we are talking about. Please do that. Sweet Polly Purebreds here in the chat. She says, keeping the program going, slipping on my shoes to get my gas tank filled up. Polly, that's a great idea. I was going to talk about that in a few minutes, but I'm going to emphasize making sure right now that you keep your gas tank topped off. Make sure if you're anywhere close to half a tank, that you top off your gas tank as soon as possible and keep it full. Because when something happens, you may need to get your vehicle and your possessions and your family members in that vehicle to get out of Dodge if it's necessary. Make sure you fill up that vehicle ASAP. Please take notes about what I'm saying. Please. Okay? Rita Clements just said that her husband was just diagnosed with double lung cancer. Rita, I'm so sorry to hear that. I recently got a clean bill of health after over a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, being diagnosed with cancer myself. So I know intimately what that's like. God bless you. God bless you and your husband and your entire family. Now, let's keep going here. Linda, yes, I saw the real BP Earthwatch about impact that took place. Yes, I do know about it. We are going to have asteroids hit the Earth. During the recent solar eclipse, there was an asteroid that dove into the sun. And that asteroid diving into the sun caused a coronal mass ejection, a large solar flare that launched off the sun. And it has had its effects on our planet. There was a huge radio communications blackout on the Earth side facing of the sun. The coronal mass ejection stopped communications for a time. It also affected satellites. It affected spacecraft, including the International Space Station. Just so you know, in case this question might come up, the astronauts have a portion of that space station that they can go to protect themselves from solar radiation or electromagnetic radiation that is designed after planetary alignments happen. Planetary alignments cause electromagnetic radiation to be released during that planetary alignment, and that electromagnetic radiation affects life on this Earth. Just like the coronal mass ejections and solar flares that are launched from the sun, electromagnetic radiation is just as dangerous, and it causes earthquakes. There's going to be a lot more of them in the coming days. Okay? So please pay attention to what we're talking about. Okay? Take notes. If you want to, once your notes are taken, transcribe those notes onto a document on your computer so that you will have access to that information at a moment's notice. And you'll be blessed by doing that. Then print it up. Print it up and stick it in your emergency preparedness planning. You should all have a book, if not a notebook, where you keep emergency preparedness planning information in. Please take notes, okay? Now, I want to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about tonight, okay? Please, I want you to take notes and understand what's going on. First, I'm going to talk about why everyone should prepare for disasters and emergencies. There's been a lot of questions. Why should I prepare? I have been telling everybody why they should prepare for years now. 5 years I've been on the air. No other program is like Emergency Management Associates. No one else is telling you about disasters and emergencies that are happening around the globe at any time. Nobody's telling you about that except us. Nobody's talking about emergency preparedness like Emergency Management Associates. Nobody. Why prepare for disasters and emergencies? Second, the three categories of disasters and emergencies to prepare for. Third, the likelihood of disasters and emergencies. The likelihood of disasters and emergencies. Now, the next one is the 4 layers of bulletproof preparedness. 4 layers of bulletproof preparedness. Fifth, the financial aspect of preparedness. Sixth, your unique situation. Seventh, other considerations that you must take a look at. Eighth, I'm going to mention further reading as well. Other things you can look at that may help you. Then, if I have time, I will give you reference material as well. Please understand this. I'm going to make this very simple. It should be simple. You can understand what emergencies and disasters are for, to get us ready. A lot of people aren't prepared. They're just not. People are not prepared. Now, why do we need to prepare for disasters and emergencies? Anything can happen, number one. Number two, it's happening now, where you and I both live. It doesn't matter whether it's here in the United States or in other countries. You need to prepare for whatever is in your area now. And the world is going to attack you personally. The world is coming after each one of us. Please. Laura Marie says she just took out the old food out of a 72-hour emergency pack and put all new food in. All you need to do that. It's not just the emergency preparedness kit. It's food in your home. Use that food that is older than the other. You need to rotate it. Make sure you have the older food in front of the newer food, the most recently purchased food. It's a good idea to use that food in your emergency preparedness kit if it's been there over 3 years or more. Use it, eat it. It's not going to go bad. Most emergency survival food, freeze-dried food, is good for 25 years, usually. So use it if it's been in your preparedness kit or your 72-hour kit. Replace it with new food. Okay? Now, things are happening around us. I just explained that what's going on here around the globe and here in the United States. Terrorism has become a global problem, and it's very hard to stop. As you might well be aware, these things happen in westernized countries. Because the bad guy, usually from these other Arab countries, don't like Western ways. Also, it's not just people from the Middle East that don't like westernized countries. Russia and China also don't like us. It's not just the United States, it's everyone. If you believe in freedoms, of individuals, China and Russia doesn't believe that. They want to control you. They are doing their best to confound you, to stop you, and make your life miserable. That's what they're good at. Okay? These things don't just happen in westernized countries, not just third world countries. It's everywhere. We also have culture clashes, culture classes right now. Right now here in the United States and other countries. We have other countries that have also been invaded, not just the United States, but other countries. We have illegal aliens in other countries as well, and they are attacking citizens in those countries. You may also have seen it happen. You've seen your news media cover it. Happening in Sweden, happening in Norway and Denmark, in Finland. It's happening in Russia. These people don't like any of us, and they're going to do their best to upset the apple cart to try to stop us. Australia, Argentina, Chile, Peru, they don't like us. New Zealand, New Zealand likes us. Australia likes us. But we have illegal people in our countries. They don't like us. They are going to do whatever they can to upset our apple carts, hurt us, or destroy us. I promise you. Every day there are all kinds of racial conflicts. And with the rise of Islamic extremism, more and more people abuse each one of us. More and more people are being abused and will be abused in bus stations, out in the streets, and even in our own homes. You need to be aware of this. It could take decades, and it probably will. It could take decades to get past this. I've seen it. I've seen it. We need to be careful. We need to be very careful. Today, the populations of our countries and our cities and our towns every day are growing. In some cases, the populations of our cities are growing by over 200,000 people a day. The populations of some of our cities and states and countries are growing by 200,000 people a day. You heard me right. You heard me right. If you checked out the population clock recently, these newborns are in a third world country. How are they going to survive? Given that their parents are barely making a living. Third world countries. How many of those people are going to migrate to your country in search of a better life? Now, we have other factors to be aware of as well. Right now, our countries, each and every one of our countries, has been suffering in a mega drought situation for quite some time. It's just not the United States and California. In Oregon, in Idaho, in Utah, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Minnesota, and other states and towns all over the United States. It's not just California. It's not just the US. England, Africa, Scandinavia, all over Europe, South America, Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, all over the Middle East. We have all been put in a situation where we have gone through a drought. Food and water are hard to come by in a lot of countries. It's only going to get worse in the coming days and hours. Let's talk about the power grids. Let's take a few minutes and talk about the power grids, what's going on. Anybody have a good idea? What about the power grids? What are we doing about that? What is going on? Power grids around the world are very vulnerable. We've seen power grids around the world attacked last year, attacked around the globe. Subversives don't like us. They're going to cut back our power, knock it offline. Not good, right? Not good at all. They're going to keep it off. And it's not just the terrorists doing it. It's not just subversives that are doing it. Our own governments are coming after each and every one of us. The global elite want to put each and every one of us in a bind, a very real bind. They are shutting off power around the globe. And they're calling, oh, it must have been the weather, it must have been the wind, it must have been anything. No. Some of it has been purposeful to get at us, find out how we're going to react to it. In some cases, we've tried to find the culprits and we haven't found them. 3 power grids were hit last year here in North Carolina. 3 power grids. The power went down. Nobody has been held responsible as a result of the power grids being attacked here in North Carolina and many other states and counties around the United States either. Nobody has been arrested and detained and prosecuted for doing that. What's going on? Why? Because there's been somebody behind those people. They're protecting those people that have attacked our power grid. Yes, our power grid has been restored for the time being. That does not mean it's going to stay restored. The power grid around the world can also be attacked by an electromagnetic pulse. An electrical magnetic pulse. What could that be? It could be a coronal mass ejection from the sun. Radiation that electrolyzes in our atmosphere and attacks our power grids, electrical lines, melting electrical lines. An X9 class flare. We've recently seen an X8.6. I'm sorry, not an X8, an X6.8. Sorry. We've seen an X-class flare 6.8. That is a very powerful solar flare. We've seen it. It's not just affected the United States, it's affected people around the world. That can knock out communications. It can also knock out our electrical systems, our power grid. It can knock out our home and our home electronics. That's why we've talked about these Faraday cages, building your own Faraday cage or building your own Faraday bags to protect your electronics in your home. There is a company called EMP Shield that makes a device that is supposedly able to protect your electronic equipment, your home, and your car. You might check into EMP Shield. I'm told they do an awesome job. I personally have not talked to any of them. but I have spoken to other people that have EMP Shield. And they say or have told me that it is an awesome company and an awesome device. Yes, it is expensive, but you might be in a position to possibly purchase it. Talk to EMP Shield. For those of you like me, I have built my own Faraday bags. I have built my own Faraday cages to protect my electronics. I'm not going to go into a huge spiel on how to build a Faraday cage or Faraday bag right now. We talked about that in previous shows. But you need to take it upon yourself to protect yourself from either a nuclear blast that causes an EMP. You need to protect yourself. A nuclear blast that causes an EMP doesn't have to be a blast that hits the ground. The nuclear blast can be 8 miles up into the atmosphere, or maybe a little higher. But that blast can be detonated from a rocket launch by an enemy country. If they're able to detonate that rocket satellite in our upper atmosphere, we're toast. Yes, the United States has ways that they might be able to protect us, but again, might be able to is the key word here, or keywords. Okay? They may be able to protect us, and I'm saying may as a very loose phrase. Okay? Now, my buddy Don Patoka is here in the chat. He is one of my moderators here on this channel. He is saying that you may also want to research before things go sour. Primitive outdoor survival. Herbal medicines of the past and present, in case you might realize a surprise, a new normal. Okay? We might be faced with a new normal, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Jenna Meow says she has an EMP shield for her car. She says the company is very good, USA owned. Yes, I don't buy anything anymore unless it's USA owned, period. I hope that you would do the same. Make sure you protect yourself by buying things that are manufactured here in the United States, not elsewhere. Okay, that's important. That is absolutely important here. Okay, I'm just telling you. Now, Don also said something I felt was very important. Actually, Don said some wonderful things here. But I'm trying to look for something I saw just a few minutes ago. Don said it's a statistical fact, a proven statistical fact, that folks are holding on to some kind of hope that some magical hero may come to the rescue and save them. They don't properly prepare because they think that this hero is going to come out of nowhere and at the last possible moment rescue us. You may think that. It's not always true. It is not always true. We've discussed this before. We're going to always discuss it again until we finally get to someone that is going to understand it and take notes and apply what we're talking about. That's important. That is important. Okay? Now, if you think that an EMP could take us back into the 18th century, you're absolutely right, it could. Our grid could be attacked and taken down. And within hours, we would not have things that we have now. The things that we have now would be destroyed. Electric cars, our gadgets, our phones, our computers, our toasters, the coffee makers that are around. Everything could be destroyed with a moment's notice. Electric cars. Now, I saw an article earlier today written by someone who had purchased an electric car. They lived in Virginia. Actually, they didn't purchase it. They rented it from, rental agency? It wasn't Alamo. It was Enterprise. They rented it from Enterprise Rent-A-Car, an electric vehicle. They told the customer that, oh yes, our electric car will get you from where you're at right now to where you need to be for your conference, for your meeting. Well, as a matter of fact, it did not get them to where they wanted to be. The person that rented the car had to actually stop for about an hour to charge that electrical vehicle, charge batteries to that EV. Then they were able to drive to their hotel. But their hotel did not have the correct size of electrical connection that they needed to hook up their car to the electrical charge units. So they had to take their car somewhere else to charge it. Apparently, and I did not know this, but those electrical connections from the cars don't always fit with an individual electrical connection at a charging station. You've got to be aware of that. You've got to be aware of that. Because even Enterprise Rent-A-Car did not tell their customer that. Heaven forbid. So they got to their conference that they needed to go to, but they had to get a charge once they got there. But unfortunately, they decided they were only going to put like a $50 charge on the battery. That $50 charge was not able to recharge the battery enough. So when they left that conference, I guess the next day, they were only able to get part of the way home. They had to stop at a rest area alongside the highway, and fortunately, that rest area had the electrical connection that they needed to charge their Nissan vehicle. Yes, it was a Nissan electrical vehicle. Okay? Not all charging stations are adaptable to any one individual vehicle. You might get lucky. So they recharged that car, put another $50 of charge on that car, and took it back to the place where they got it. And then they told Enterprise people with a store full of people that those EV vehicles were not sufficient to even drive for 3 hours, 200 miles. The EV would not even drive 200 miles. So you need to be prepared for that. If you have an EV vehicle, it's not going to get you where you want to go. And you may already know this. Okay? An EMP could take all of this off grid. The EMP could destroy all electrical vehicles. It can destroy everything electrical that we know in our life. Everything. If you don't have a vehicle that was built in the last 50 years, or not 50, I'm sorry, in the last 30 years, you're up Crud Creek without a paddle. If you own a vehicle that was built in the middle 80s, 85 to now, guess what? If an EMP strikes, those vehicles are not going to be any good. If you own a vehicle that was built up until about 75, you might survive. Your vehicle might survive. It may not have a computer that would be affected by an EMP, but your carburetor has on it points on that carburetor that are able to survive and keep the spark going on your combustion system to make sure your car operates. But if you have points and the grid destroys those points on your vehicle, you might have another set of points that might get you to where you need to go. But if you have an EV, it's not going to do you any good. If you have a car like mine that has a computer in it, I'm toast. I'm toast. That computer is not going to be any good to me, you, or anybody else. It's just not. It's not going to happen. You need to be aware of it. So I talked about your electrical devices, your TVs, your radios, your toasters, your coffee makers, your computers, your cell phones. Anything that's electrical could be damaged by an EMP. Whether it's from the sun or whether it's from a BOMB, detonated high up in the atmosphere or detonated on land. Regardless, you're done. With the increasing number of electrical cars, car chargers, and gadgets puts even more pressure on what's going on. You need to be very much concerned with where you're at. Now, I'm going to talk about something else that might be very foreign to some of you, but knowing what's going on around you or in your own life, this may affect you. It may affect your preparation, your ability to become prepared. Okay? How about gambling, drugs, or some other addiction that either you or a loved one, a family member, could fall a victim to? I know a lot of family members. I know a lot of friends that are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Drug is an addiction. Alcohol is a drug. A lot of people tell me, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. I can handle alcohol just fine. Guess what? You're only trying to convince yourself. I know it's a drug. I've seen how it affects people. I was a police officer for many, many, many years, 24 years. I know what alcohol can do to someone. I've studied it. I have been subjected to people that drink alcohol. I see the effect it has on them and their families. You can't convince me of any benefit of alcohol or drugs. You can't. You may think, oh, it's going to be fine. It's not. Hurricane Heather is saying she's trying to stop smoking. That is her only bad vice. Heather, I applaud you. I applaud you. You can do it. You can do it. Cigarettes, folks, are a vice and they are a drug. Heather knows the struggle to get away from it. If you're struggling to get away from any vice or drug, guess what? It is a drug and it's harming you and it's harming your family. God bless you, Heather. We love you and appreciate you and all the rest of you who are struggling to stop. Tammy Steppy says her sister is in a hospital now because of alcohol. I've also seen that. I've seen people get killed as a result of alcohol and drugs. I've seen it. I went to an accident scene where friends of mine who were drinking and under the influence of drugs caused a fatal accident. That accident put a mother of a friend of mine in the hospital. She later died of every bone in her body being broken. His mother died as a result of every bone in her body being broken as a result of a man and his girlfriend drinking and driving and being high on drugs. That young man and young woman also had a beautiful collie in the car with them. All three of them were ejected through the car windshield, a 1957 Chevy. They were ejected through the windshield as they struck a Datsun B210. They ended up in the middle of the roadway. The dog in a pool of blood. The man and the woman in a pool of blood. I'm not going to give you any more details about them right now. They were gone. The mother in the other vehicle, the Datsun B210, she was extricated from that car that night and taken to the hospital. She had a baby in the back seat that had been strapped into a car seat. The baby had been ejected through that vehicle's window. At the time that we were at the accident scene, we did not know a baby had been in that car. I thought I had gotten over this. I haven't. One of my friends and I found out the next morning that there had been a baby in that mother's car. We didn't know it the night before. So we went back out to the accident scene at about 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And it wasn't that long after we got there when we found the baby dead as a result of exposure to the cold temperatures. It might have gotten down to 35 degrees that night. The baby had had a blanket wrapped around him, but as a result of that accident, the baby and the blanket had been separated. The baby died of being exposed to cold temperatures there in San Diego that night. The baby was still in the car seat and was ejected through the window. Guys, alcohol and drugs are no good. I'm telling you, you can try to tell me that I'm wrong. It's not going to do any good. I saw what I saw. I've seen it. No one can change my mind. No one can change my mind. Gambling, drugs, alcohol addiction, that either you or a loved one or someone that you care about could fall victim to it. The United States debt has reached a record number. Trillions of dollars. Hundreds of trillions of dollars, and it's increasing $1 trillion every day as a result of us, you and I, being ruled by these people in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere around our globe. You and I are being ruled by these political elites that want to ruin our lives and destroy us. The national debt in the United States has increased $100 million a day. Increases every day. It's not going to stop. The dollar hasn't yet collapsed, but it's going to. The collapse of the dollar can happen at any time. And if the United States dollar collapses, every country around the world will be affected by it, regardless of who's in the White House. Regardless of who is in the White House. The U.S. has a number of powerful enemies. A lot of powerful enemies. Russia, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, North Korea, and China. They don't like us. They don't care about us. They would do anything to take us out. And now, even as of this past week, Iran has threatened to attack and bring down the United States of America on our shores. And anyone who cooperates with the United States of America, anyone, not just Israel. Fact. There are just a few of the world's problems that I've talked about. But the real number of emergencies and disasters, big and small, is large. It's large, guys. This is why I put things into categories tonight. The disasters and emergencies happen, and there's a reason that I've cataloged them the way I have. The riots and unrest that we've been seeing in our cities around the world, in Malmö, Göteborg, Stockholm, Uppsala, Umeå, Sweden, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, France, the Netherlands, all over South America, Central America, Australia, Indonesia. Every city around the globe is being affected. New Zealand, everywhere. Japan, Canada. Riots and unrest in our history is not good, but it has showed us how easy it is for those spreading that hate and unrest across our countries. We've seen it. It's not going away. It's not going away. These are just a few of the world's problems, but the real number of disasters and emergencies are big and small. And those big and small turn into huge. This is why I put things into categories. I don't want to see anyone feel overwhelmed. That's not why I'm talking about it. That's not why I'm talking about it. I want people to be prepared. Car crashes. Let's just speak about car crashes. 37 to 50,000 people die every year as a result of car crashes. Car crashes. And over 2 million people are injured in car crashes. Rape. Almost 300,000 sexual assaults in the United States alone each year. Firearm assaults. Firearm assaults. Although this number has decreased in recent years, it seems to be increasing. Because of the present U.S. administration, they want to take away our guns. My belief, and no, I'm not just a conspiracy theorist. I am a cop. Even though I'm no longer wearing a uniform, I am a police officer. I've seen people that are purposely in a position where I feel that those people were motivated by someone in power. They didn't just commit the crime that they did by themselves. And in a lot of cases, it's been proven that someone else motivated it. A fact. How about electrical shocks? 200 people a year end up in the emergency room as a result of shocks. Electrical shocks. How about drowning? How about drowning? Over 3,500 people a year end up drowning. That's at least 10 people a day. Over 3,500 deaths a year from drowning. That is over 10 people a day. Food poisoning. Let's talk about food poisoning. 1 in 6 Americans, and I'm sure that the numbers are the same throughout the world in every country. 1 in 6 people get sick every year, and 3,000 people die as a result of food poisoning. Heart attacks. Let's talk about heart-related attacks. The leading cause of death here in the United States and other countries as well. Over 600,000 people a year die as a result of heart attacks during the past 3 years as a result of that supposed jab. Even more people have died as a result of heart issues. I'm just saying, it's a proven fact. I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is a proven fact. Let's talk about rabid dogs. 40,000 U.S. citizens are treated for rabies after being bitten. 40,000 U.S. citizens are treated every year after they are bitten by dogs. Let's talk about carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide intoxication. Some people plan on killing themselves by leaving their vehicles on in a closed garage. Other people attach a line to filter exhaust from their car into the cabin of their car to kill themselves. Other people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning from faulty heaters in their homes, or they have used kerosene heaters or some other device that is powered by gas, and they are overcome by carbon monoxide poisoning in their homes. Fact. 500 people a year die as a result of carbon monoxide poisoning. 15,000 ER visits. 15,000 visits to the emergency room caused by carbon monoxide. How about fainting? A lot of people faint every day. That's a real issue. Not getting enough oxygen, being addicted to some drug, or some other health defect causes people to faint. How about getting struck by lightning? People around the world get struck by lightning. People get struck by lightning. How about car breakdowns? How about car accidents on the highways? Falling down or falling off stairs. That's also a major issue. How about seizures, road rage? How about falling objects, tiles off of roofs, branches falling off trees, falling objects, asteroids. I don't know anyone who's been killed as a result of an asteroid, but I'm sure it's possible. Okay? Biking accidents. 726 bikers died in 2012. The actual statistics are a lot higher than that. Motorcycle accidents kill at least 4,000 people a year on the roadways. Motorcycle accidents. I personally do not own a motorcycle because of that very fact. I could. As a police officer, I've been trained to operate motorcycles. But at the last minute, my department decided to put us all on bikes. So I was a bike officer until they put me in charge of accident investigation. Yeah. I was a certified bike officer. I was a certified motorbike officer. They called it a motor officer. And then I became a certified accident investigator. Hiking accidents. How about a whopping 200,000 people a year are treated as a result of hiking-related injuries? And over 300 people every year die as a result of hiking accidents. Boating accidents. We all of us, I don't know anybody that doesn't enjoy occasionally going out in a boat. Your own boat or someone else's. 300 Americans each year die as a result of boat accidents. Sinking cars. How many times have I told you about driving across flooded roadways, or driving too fast on a roadway that you shouldn't be driving that fast on? Whether it's icy, whether it's snowy, or whether it's just water on the roadway, you lose control of your vehicle and end up sliding off the highway into a body of water. I've seen that. I've seen it too many times. Sinking cars, bee stings, pickpocketing. Yes, pickpocketing can hurt people, even kill them. Weather-related accidents. 2,000 people each year die from the weather. They die from the weather. A third of them die from cold-related issues, including hypothermia. Have you thought of that? 2,000 people here in the United States die from that. How about that? How about losing your job or your home? Those are also real emergencies. Those are also very real emergencies that you could be subjected to. Street fights. Street fights. They happen all the time. I've seen it. People get hurt and killed as a result of street fights or a fight breaking out in a mall or a store. Almost every day I hear of someone getting in a fight in a store, out on the street, or somewhere else. People get hurt and die. Those are real emergencies that each one of us has probably lost our friends, our family members, or someone that we cared about. Choking. Choking. I've been trained on how to prevent choking and save people's lives. How about suffocation and strangulation? Real issue, real emergencies. Hazardous material emergencies. How many of you know about hazardous materials in your businesses or homes? Getting lost in a big city. Not understanding where you're at. That can get you hurt and killed. There was one day a lot of years ago, I drove into a city in Los Angeles and I lost my directions. I stopped at a 7-Eleven store where I thought maybe it was safe. Well, guess what? It wasn't. The clerk in that store says, you need to get out of here, and you need to get out of here right now. I did not realize how dangerous it was. So for a while, I wandered around in my car aimlessly, trying to find a freeway to get out of Dodge. Yes, I finally got out of there. I finally got out of there. How about dust storms? Have any of you been stuck in a dust storm or
Location
overcome yourself
Tropica,
from
Chile
a dust
class
storm?
Light, magnitude
Have you?
4.03 minutes ago.
I have. I've been in dust storms in Lakewood, Colorado, 2019. No, it wasn't either. I'm sorry, it wasn't either. It was 2009. 2009, a really bad dust storm. Lakewood, Colorado is southwest of Denver. I lived south of there in a town called Littleton. I saw this huge dust storm that was probably 2 miles high in the air, and it was seemingly rolling and rolling closer to where I was until it was where I was at. Before it reached me, I got home and parked my car where it would be safe, and I went inside my house and shut the windows and doorways to make sure that dust would not come in my home. If you're out in the roadway, guess what? You're subjected to that dust storm, and your car is also, and your car may be incapacitated itself. And you may also suffer from being in that dust storm. That constitutes a real emergency. Hailstorms. We talk about hailstorms all the time when we talk about tornadoes. That's a real issue. People get hurt and die as a result of hailstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes. Accidental injuries, falls, cuts, gun accidents. Over 130,000 people a year in the United States alone. Accidental injuries. Police brutality. It happens a lot during riots. They could mistake you for a criminal or a thug. Then you're injured because of police brutality. Because people's emotions are running high, including police officers. And you get caught up in it, and so do they. And someone gets hurt and dies. I've seen it. Riots are bad. They are bad anywhere. I don't care whether it's in California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, London. I've seen it. I have not been in England during a riot, but I have seen video, and I'm sure our dear friend Dean can testify to that. He's seen it as well. It's all over. It's all over. Any emergencies can happen to us. Spider bites, snake bites, tick bites. We have talked about earthquakes. People die every year in earthquakes. We've talked about it. Tsunami waves. We talked about that. A few years ago, we talked about the earthquake in Japan. A 9.0 earthquake hit Fukushima, Japan. 9,000 people killed as a result of a tsunami. We've seen small tsunami waves in every country around the world as a result of earthquakes. We are expecting a 50 to 150 foot tsunami to hit the coast of Washington, Oregon, and California after a major 9.0, 10.0 Cascadia megathrust earthquake. That's going to happen. Promise. That is going to happen. We're going to see a tsunami-like event along the New Madrid Fault when we have another 8.0, 9.0 earthquake on the New Madrid Fault in the next few years. The Mississippi River being bounced up and down like a yo-yo. And the water in the Mississippi River coming up in huge waves. Or, again, the Mississippi River stopped flowing for 7 minutes, where it created a lake. Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee is there because the Mississippi River stopped flowing in 1811. Fact. It can happen. The Great Lakes. The Great Lakes in the United States. Tsunami waves. Only 10 big ones have occurred in the last 100 years. The last was in 1998, caused parts of Michigan to be declared a federal disaster area, a tsunami in Michigan. Fact. It can happen. We talked about terrorist attacks. Fact. It's going to happen. It's going to happen again and again and again. And we are likely, more likely to have one now because our president here has forced us to allow 8 million people to come across the border into the United States, and not just here in the United States, but around the world. We're about to see terrorist attacks like we've never seen them before, everywhere. In the past, we talked about volcanic eruptions. Volcanic eruptions have killed people. Fact. There are 169 volcanoes here in the United States. There are 30 volcanoes in Indonesia alone. Italy, we have Stromboli and Etna volcano that are going now. Huge Strombolian eruptions out of both those volcanoes. And we have a major volcano, a super volcano in Italy that could erupt again. And it will. It shows every possibility of erupting sometime soon. We've seen it. Wildfires around the world. Wildfires around the world. Our buddy Brokefish, that's here as a mod in our chat, he's also an expert on wildland fires. Wildfires. Over 63,000 total wildfires in the United States every year. every year. Those fires last year burned over 6,000 million acres. 6,000 million acres. That's just here in the United States. That is just here in the United States alone. How about straight line winds? I've seen that happen as well. Coming flying, picking up objects, throwing them through our home walls, the outside walls of our homes. Straight line winds with objects, 2x4s penetrating a brick wall. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen more times than I want to think about. Straight line winds. We also have other winds that come up, downdrafts that come up, and then they go back up. They hit the ground here, straight line winds go down, hit the ground, and then they go back up like this. I've seen straight line winds in Utah come down and then pick up a dumpster and drop it, leaving trash from that dumpster scattered all over creation. I've seen it happen. Ice storms around the world. We talked about it. We've seen it. I've personally seen it. Over 15 of them a year, just here in the U.S. Home invasion robberies. Home invasion robberies. Mudslides and landslides. Heavy rain and flooding. Radiation leaks. Radiation leaks. Extreme cold, heat exhaustion. Heat waves. Snowstorms and blizzards. 20 to 30 yearly deaths because of snowstorms and blizzards. Prolonged grid down situation, blackouts. It can happen. Droughts are going to happen and have. Devastating nuclear attacks. It's going to happen. It could happen any day now, in your town and mine. Regardless of whether you're in the United States or not, it can happen in your town or mine. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to put reality in front of each of us. That's what I'm trying to do. Economic collapse. With the collapse of the US dollar, we're going to see economic collapse, not just in the United States, but around the world. It can't be avoided now. It cannot be avoided. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The possible rise of a ruthless dictator. That's going on in Canada. It's going on almost in every country around the globe. The rise of a ruthless dictator, a gradual collapse of society. It's happening. It's happening. What are we going to do? These are only a few reasons to start preparing. These are only a few reasons to start preparing now. If you're intimidated or scared, I get it. I don't want to intimidate you and I don't want to scare you. That is not my meaning here. My entire meaning right now today is to get people off their butts, get people off their backsides and moving. Hurricane Heather said in the chat just a second ago, fear is a great motivator, but don't let it drive you. Fear is a great motivator, but don't let it drive you. Don't do it. Get going yourself. When you get going, the fear goes away because you're doing something about your situation. You don't have to fear after that because you're doing whatever it takes to get out of that, to be ready to face anything. That's what I want you to do. You can't prepare for everything, and you shouldn't. Otherwise, your whole life will revolve around preparedness. And that's not just for everyone. The likelihood of disasters or emergencies hitting you is real. It could help you or hit you, disasters and emergencies won't help you, except they might hit you with reality so that you do something about it. I'm not asking you to leave your house, to bug out of your house, but you need to be prepared for whatever happens. There are 4 layers of bulletproof preparation. My approach to preparedness is simple. After you first figure out your unique situation, and it's unique for each one of us. After you figured out your unique situation where you're at, and that's why I've talked about all these different scenarios, you need to figure out where you're at. I would love to see you apply my layered approach for preparedness. First, prepare for a few days. Prepare for the first few days. Then prepare for 3 weeks. Then prepare for 3 months. Then prepare for a year. Prepare for 3 weeks, prepare for 3 days, prepare for 3 months or 3 weeks, and then 3 months, and then prepare for a year. Prepare for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and then a year. Okay, it's easy then. Start with level 1, 3 days. Don't move on to the next one until you've completed the first. Prepare for 3 days. That will be the start. There are 2 basic scenarios here for you and your family when a catastrophe hits you. You either decide you're going to stay in your home where you're at, or you're going to bug out. You're going to shelter in place, or you're going to bug out. You can stay in your home and shelter in place until the emergency is over, or you're going to have to bug out. Leave your home or town or city and find someplace else to live. Let me share with you a customized, layered survival plan. I want to share with you a customized, layered survival plan. First, you could go hardcore. And some people have done that. You could go hardcore right from the very start and prepare for a long-term disaster from day one. I've seen it. I had some friends of mine, and I know there are many people that are in this situation. They've gone hardcore. They have a room in their basement that looks like a well-prepared grocery store. Shelves with an aisle maybe 2 feet on either side. 2 feet wide. And shelves that are about 2 feet deep. They walk down each aisle of that room and get what they need. And when they use it, they replace it. I've seen it. I know one friend of mine just outside of Denver that did that. I was in their home. They had a very large room in their basement. It looked like maybe the size of a bedroom. But instead of having the door on one end of the room, they moved the door to the middle of the room so they could access the entire room and access each aisle in that room. Then they filled every shelf in that room with the commodity that they could eat or use. Like I said, it looked like a store, a very well-stocked store. But you don't need to go to long-term disaster storage right now. Start off with 3 days, then 3 weeks, then 3 months, then even a year. I went from 3 days, 72-hour kit, then I worked my way up, not just to 3 weeks, but to 3 months. I now have enough food in my home. Food to last 6 months. I did this after a divorce, and I moved away from Salt Lake City, where I had nearly a year's supply. I have now, over almost 4 years, gotten my supply up to 6 months, really scrimping and saving every darn dime I could get. Please, I want you to have what I have, and you can do it. It's much better and easier to prepare for an emergency or a disaster in a layered survival plan. And I'm all about giving you the information you need so you don't feel overwhelmed with this issue. I'm trying to give you information that you can use so you can get to where you want to be. It's not just about toilet paper. During that pandemic a few years ago, you couldn't find toilet paper at Costco. You could not find it in Walmart. You could not find it in a Kroger store, a Safeway, or a Food Lion store. You couldn't find it. They would get the supply of toilet paper in 2 or 3 times a week, and by the end of that day, there was no more left on the shelves. That was the way it was with a lot of food as well. I remember not finding milk in the store for several days. I remember total aisles with nothing on the shelves, or very little. I had pictures of it. Pictures that I had taken myself, and I showed some of those pictures on the air. I shared them with you. That's why we're talking about this. Folks, we are about to see one of the biggest disasters and emergencies in our lives. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you with the basics of how to survive for at least 3 days. A 72-hour kit. 3 days worth of food. A cook kit. A very simple cook kit like a Boy Scout cook kit. I have something a little bigger than a Boy Scout cook kit. I could cook a meal for my wife and I out of my cook kit, and she has one herself in her 72-hour kit as well. Yeah, you can do it. I know you can. Work on a bug-out bag as well. Get 2 separate backpacks. One for your 72-hour kit and a bug-out kit. A bug-out bag. Why a bug-out bag? The bug-out bag will have enough supplies in the bag to get you from your office to your home if you're not able to leave your office and get to the home with your car. You're going to have to walk or get out and hike. You're going to want to have maybe 1 meal in your bug-out bag, as well as some snacks with calories to boot, and water to get you from your location to home. A bug-out bag. That should be taken out of your car, into your home, out of your car, into the office, out of your car, wherever you're going to be. Don't leave it in your car. Don't forget it where you're at. That should be like your watch on your hand. That should be like a ring on your finger. Don't forget where you're at. Don't forget what you need. Okay? How about a first aid kit? I've got a first aid kit in my car. It's a little less than I have in my house, but guess what? In my survival kit, I have a full-blown EMT kit. Yes, I'm a little crazy. I was a cop. I was an EMT police officer. I had to have my tools to help out at accident scenes, to save people's lives. And yes, I did that. But you're going to have to save your own life and the lives of your family with your first aid kit. Get those things that we've talked about it before. Get those things that you need in your first aid kit. In your medical kit, you may need prescription medicine, 90 days worth of prescription medicine for you and your family and your pets. Make sure you have plenty of your prescription medicine with you. It's important to save your life and the lives of your family members. And yes, your pets are family members, guys. Okay? I'm telling you. A first aid kit is absolutely necessity. A bug out bag is a necessity. A bug out bag is a necessity. Your vehicle. Consider your vehicle a bug out vehicle. Like I said early on in this presentation tonight, you need to have a full tank of gas, and I mean a full tank of gas immediately today. If you don't have one tonight, make sure you get a full tank of gas tomorrow. Okay? You need it. You need it. Your vehicle is going to be your bug out vehicle if you can't stay home. You may end up being like those people in Louisiana before Hurricane Katrina, or those people in New York before Hurricane Sandy, or any other place where we've had a disaster. Florida, for example. Trying to get out of Florida before a hurricane strikes. If you don't have a full tank of gas, you're going to be a casualty on the freeway, and you're going to be stranded, causing everybody else to be stranded on the highway with you because you stopped the flow of traffic. And then you're going to have people mad at you because your vehicle did not have a full tank of gas. Bad. Then life has gone from bad to worse. I'm asking each of you to get on the preparedness wagon now. Not now, but right now, as my dad used to say. Get prepared. General Physical Preparation, GPP. General Physical Preparation, meaning you need to be a little stronger. You need to be a little faster. You need to be more flexible. You need to have more stamina. Nothing too fancy, but you need to get just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Okay? I'm not asking for you to give everything up right now, but you need to get a little bit better each and every day. What I'm giving you now is a heads up. What I'm giving you now is a heads up. Please do not feel overwhelmed. I'm going to help you. I will help you, brothers and sisters. I will help you. I'm here all about you. This is not about Ron. This has nothing to do with Ron. This has everything to do with all of you. I am here for you. I want you to know that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here for you. Don Patoka here in the chat says, everyone has some form of hardship or handicap. The real challenge is realizing that all of us can be a bright light or an example by doing something. Ponder what's going to work out for you. Ponder about what is going to work out for you. Don't worry about Ron. I know a lot of you have prayed for me, which I lovingly appreciate, and I have prayed for you all. Many of you have also donated to my getting my car fixed. You donated to our computer. We've now got our computer. I thank all of you for helping me. I want to thank you for that. That means the world to me. Rebecca's here saying she's got to go put down her grandbaby into bed. Much love to all. Becca, have a good night. Please know that all of us love you. We do. We love you. We appreciate all that you do. By the way, Rebecca has her own channel, guys. I mentioned that last night. She has a channel on YouTube. NCWQ Disaster News and Explorer. She's awesome. Check out her chat. Check out her program on YouTube. Another one we have here on YouTube is a weather channel. Okay? Ryan Hall, y'all. Ryan Hall, y'all. Okay? He's a great man. He does a better job than even any news weatherman anywhere. I know for a fact. There's only one weather person that comes anywhere close to him, and some of you know who I'm talking about. But Ryan Hall, y'all,
Location
does
Sarah,
it all.
Indonesia.
Literally.
Class light magnitude 4.2
Okay.
11 minutes ago.
Then Nathan Hester. He's someone else that does storm chasing from down in Mississippi. When we had some bad storms here in North Carolina this week, he's giving me a heads up. He's given me a heads up about it. And so is Rebecca. God bless those wonderful people. Check their channels out on YouTube. I also want to ask you to go over and give their channels some love, but also go over to Mark Wages World here on YouTube. He's a very fine man. He gives us great solar information because solar flares affect our Earth. They cause earthquakes. He's put up some great information on what's happening on the sun, even during the last 24 to 50 hours. Mark Wages is awesome. Check out his channel and give him some love. Check it out and subscribe to his channel. Okay? It's the best. I appreciate everyone who's subscribed to this channel, and I want to ask you to keep checking your subscriptions because YouTube has been unsubscribing people. I found many people who are our friends here on YouTube that YouTube has unsubscribed. Don Patoka has found himself unsubscribed from our channel. And he's one of my mods. He's one of my dearest friends. And he was unsubscribed by YouTube. So make sure you stay subscribed to YouTube. If you're unsubscribed, resubscribe immediately. And also click on that little bell icon and click the word ALL so you'll be subscribed and you'll be notified when we come on the air. That's important. Brokefish is the same way. Go follow him. Brokefish is a great man. Okay? I've talked about his wildfire coverage and what he does. He's got a great Discord channel, and they put up a lot of great information there. Check it out. Okay? Go and check it out. For those people that have missed our website, it's down. The person who had been doing my website had also been doing our videos and decided I wasn't a good enough Christian for her, so she pulled out of my website and took the website down with her. We had videos that we put up for this program every day, at the beginning and at the end. She took those down as well. Yes, I will be putting more videos together so you have that information as well. Okay? Please, folks, please subscribe to this program. Please also take notes about what we're doing. Tomorrow afternoon or evening, I will be coming back on the air and I will be talking about preparedness. I want to talk about layer 1 of emergency preparedness, your 72-hour emergency kit. That is tomorrow. I may get through level 2s and 3s as well, but I want to start off with your 72-hour kit tomorrow. I want to make sure you stay prepared and get there. Okay? Please do that. Like I said, go give those channels on YouTube some love. Subscribe there. Each of the people that I have told you about are great people. Please go over there, and when you do, tell them that I sent you there. Okay? Tell them that I sent you there. Okay? Please do that. Hurricane Heather says, Miss Catherine, Aaron, J-Jack chases in Canada. People carjack, and they kill people. It happens in San Diego when I was a cop. We shot and killed a carjacker that had threatened somebody with a gun and shot somebody with a gun, carjacking their car. We shot and killed them. Happens all the time, unfortunately. Be careful. Be careful. Heather, thank you so much for all you do as well. Heather is one of our great mods here. She's also a very dear friend of ours. Each one of us here. Please always tell her hi. She deserves that. Tell her hi. Get to know Heather. She's a great lady. She's a great lady. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to get out of here. Before I get out of here, I want to tell you something special. I've been blessed today, very blessed. I've had a lot of prayers answered. Back before Christmas, I went to a Christmas parade here in Morganton. I put up pictures of the Morganton Christmas parade for all of you. It was great. However, that night, while I was walking back to my car, we were walking back to our car, I had some blood vessels burst in my lower leg. Really getting better. It's gradually getting better. Because of your prayers and mine, through the watchful eyes of my doctor and my wife, I want to thank you for all of that and more. Prayers to our Heavenly Father. Brothers and sisters, I just don't preach. I try to live to what I'm talking about. I try to be honest with all of you. Heather says she's a weather girl too. Yes, she is. She's awesome. She's awesome. Brothers and sisters, I just don't teach Sunday school. I live what I teach. I live what I teach. And all I ask of you is also, please believe. If you don't believe right now, pray about it. Give your consideration to God. Pray about it. Give yourself a chance to understand who God is and who Jesus Christ is. Jesus Christ hears and answers our prayers. I have found our Savior to be there for me and my family. I love our Savior dearly. I love our Heavenly Father dearly. That means the world to me and my family. I've prayed for many of you as well. I say a prayer for all of our viewers, all of our EMA family members and your families. Rob 52, Dawn, Heather, Brokefish, Canadian Patriot 2. A great many of you I have prayed for, and I continue praying for you. I love all of you. Yes, I do have friendly and familial relationships with all of you, or most of you. I care about you. I know for a fact that angels will be blessing you. Angels are watching over you and blessing you with your troubles, with your families, and holding you, comforting you in your trials. Our Heavenly Father is with you every day. He is. If you ever felt the Holy Spirit with you, that is a testimony in and of itself of our Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. The Holy Ghost can give us impressions and love and caring. Please know that. Please know that. Brothers and sisters, I believe, but I just don't believe. I know. I know. And because of that, I love each of you. I came on this program 5 years ago with the idea of trying to help people. And it's gone far more than that. We are blessing people's lives. Each and every one of us are blessing people's lives as a result of this program. And that's all I could ever ask. Take a step forward. One step, and then another after that. Each step will get us further down the road. Each step will get us closer to our Heavenly Father. Please do that. Rob says, love you, Brother Ron. I love you too, Rob. You make such an influence on me. Don Patoka has such a wonderful, he is such a wonderful man. He has such a helpful idea of life. He loves people around him. Don is one of those men. I truly love him as well. Please, folks, please follow after Jesus Christ. Then you too will become like Rob and Brokefish and Dawn and Heather. Truly wonderful, wonderful people. Brothers and sisters, we will be back here on the air tomorrow to talk more about emergency preparedness. Please come on the show tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, where we can talk about preparedness and take notes, because I'm trying to give you as much information as I possibly can to get you ready for what's going to happen. And happen it's going to. May God bless you. If anything else happens tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, God be with you until we meet again. Please know that I care about you and love you. I hope you have a great night and a better tomorrow. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Lamb is light. Thank you for being here. God bless you too. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.